Hey everybody, Ross here, and this is Bible Study Superstar. If this is your first time on this channel, click here to go back to the intro, or if you'd rather to see what's been happening recently, click here to go back to Genesis 32. And without further ado, I'm just going to jump right on in to Genesis 33, verse 1. Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. But Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes, and saw the women and children, and he said, "Who are these with you?" So he said, "The children whom God has graciously given to your servant." Then the maidservants came near, they and their children, and they bowed down. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord." But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." And Jacob said, "No, please, if I have found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand. Inasmuch as I have seen your face, as though I had seen the face of God, and you were pleased with me. Please, take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." So he urged him, and he took it. Then Esau said, "Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock can go before me, and the children are able to bear, until I come to my Lord in Seir." And Esau said, "Now let me leave with you some of the people who were with me." But he said, "What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. Then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city, and he bought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar there, and called it El Elohi Israel. Alright. The way Jacob had ordered his family behind him was not to display his children from oldest to youngest, which he didn't, but to protect the members of his family he held dearest. Were he not displaying any type of favoritism like this, he would have ordered his family in one row behind him, instead of 3 separate rows with Rachel and Joseph in the most protected place. Now, as Jacob bowed himself those 7 times to Esau, though he still appeared cautious, he also seemed as though he had lost his previous fear. God said that he had struggled against God and man and prevailed. Jacob's lack of fear can then be attributed to his confidence in God and his blessing. Even so, it must have been a surprise to Jacob when Esau greeted him so warmly. Why did Esau do this? It seemed obvious that he had brought out the 400 men to do Jacob harm. So what changed? Either Jacob's gift had succeeded in softening Esau's heart, or God had done a work in Esau's heart to protect Jacob. I think both elements were at play here, but the latter is doing most of the work. Either way, Esau forgot about his hatred toward Jacob and welcomed him. Moving on. When Jacob was urging Esau to take his gift, he was also urging Esau to reconcile with him. According to BibleStudyTools.com, quote, "In the East, the acceptance by a superior is a proof of friendship, and by an enemy of reconciliation. It was on both accounts Jacob was so anxious that his brother should receive the cattle, and in Esau's acceptance he had the strongest proofs of a good feeling being established that Eastern notions admit of." End quote. Moving on again. When Jacob told Esau to go on ahead of him, I got the strong sense that he was trying to get away from his brother. Considering that they had just made up, why would he do this? Even though they had reconciled, they were still completely opposite people. Jacob was a man of God, while Esau was a man of the world. It would have only been a matter of time before strife began to build between them again. Thus, it was best to separate on good terms. It may also be why Jacob did not meet Esau in Seir, like he said he would. It may have been his intention to meet there when he said it, but for some reason we don't know, he went to Succoth instead. And finally, at the end of his journey, Jacob built an altar to the Lord and worshipped him there. He recognized that it was God alone who blessed him and brought him safely to his destination. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions, leave them down below in a video response or in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all soon in Genesis 34.